Breaking news surrounding the Epstein Files has taken a dramatic new turn. Newly reviewed documents suggest that key records potentially linked to Donald Trump may be missing from the Department of Justice's public release under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. According to investigative reporting, an index of witness statements from the Epstein case reveals that at least one accuser, a woman interviewed multiple times by the FBI in 2019, appears to have incomplete records in the publicly released files. Here's where it becomes significant. This woman, identified through internal FBI documentation from 2025, is reportedly the same person who accused Donald Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was between 13 and 15 years old. The allegation includes claims of forced sexual acts and physical abuse. However, while the index shows that the FBI conducted 4 interviews with her in 2019, only one of those interview memoranda is available in the public release. 3 additional FBI interview summaries, potentially totaling more than 50 pages, are missing. The single interview that is available does not contain the accusations against Trump. Instead, it mentions that she had met him once and references a well-known photograph of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump together, a photo she reportedly hesitated to share with investigators out of fear of retaliation. The key question now is, where are the other 3 interview records? Journalists reviewing the files discovered inconsistencies by comparing page numbers assigned under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. These page numbers are sequential, meaning missing numbers may indicate missing documents. In this case, dozens of pages appear unaccounted for. Legal analysts say that if documents were withheld to protect someone from reputational harm, particularly a sitting president, that could violate the Transparency Act. The Act explicitly prohibits withholding information solely to shield individuals from embarrassment or political damage. So far, the Department of Justice has not provided a direct explanation for the missing records. The White House has responded broadly, stating that President Trump has been fully transparent and that previous allegations against him were false and politically motivated. It's also important to note that, according to prior DOJ statements, claims submitted to the FBI shortly before the 2020 election were described as untrue and sensationalist. There's been no public confirmation that the FBI validated the accuser's claims, but the absence of documents is raising new concerns. Investigators and reporters reviewing the Epstein files say this may not be an isolated case. The witness index lists more than 500 individuals, and there are indications that other statements, including those from alleged victims, may also be incomplete or partially redacted. Meanwhile, political tension is escalating, with the president set to deliver his State of the Union address. Several Epstein survivors and their families are expected to be in attendance. However, there is no indication that the president plans to address the missing files, the survivors, or the broader controversy, adding another layer to the story. Former lawmakers have claimed that there was internal pressure to limit the release of certain documents, allegedly out of concern that they could harm influential individuals. At the center of it all remains a broader issue: transparency. The Epstein Files Transparency Act was designed to provide public accountability in one of the most high-profile abuse scandals in modern history. Yet questions now persist about whether the release has been complete and whether critical information has been withheld. To be clear, appearing in investigative documents does not automatically imply guilt. Allegations require verification, and due process remains essential. But when files appear incomplete, especially in a case of this magnitude, it inevitably fuels suspicion. As journalists continue combing through millions of pages, one thing is certain: the Epstein Files story is far from over, and the missing pages may become just as important as the ones that were released.